And on this special episode of Cupcake Wars, contestants are required to fit in at least one curious ingredient. How will you be able to incorporate anthrax, cyanide, or bleach in your latest culinary concoction? Prominent targets the world over are suddenly falling ill and then dead. And for once, you are not responsible. Investigate this rash of deaths before it affects your plans.
Have you seen this report? That meddling journalist Padma Banerjee dead? And authorities are baffled as to how?
Sure did, boss. Nice one, finally taking her out.
That's the thing, I didn't. She's the 8th target to turn up dead that I didn't touch.
Doesn't that still come out as a win for you, though?
Not if this assassin decides to target me someday. Get out there. Find out who's killing them and how. I was expecting a report an hour ago. What's the final word on these assassinations?
Boss, it appears the cause of death in all cases was poisoning.
But how? We observed them. None of the targets was hit with darts or gas or anything suspicious.
That's not all, boss. It appears the poison is unique to sea creatures. Ones that live in hammer waters.
Hammer? Not much, but it's something. Very well. I'll shake that tree and see what falls out of it.
It seems our assassin that we are trailing employs minions of their own. Oh no! The valets were just on break! What's happening? Lay down the law, Eli. It is time for our counterattack! You've traced the assassin back to Japan in Hammer territory, specifically to the Furuakawa sushi house in Okinawa. Dispatch your team of minions there to corner your mysterious assassin at last.
You should be proud. None have ever succeeded in tracing these deaths back to a humble sushi chef like me.
I gather that you are the owner of this restaurant, Fugu Furukawa.
Indeed. My restaurant empire lets me put poison in the veins of any VIP in the world. None are safe from me.
Well, now that I know who you are, one could argue that you're not safe from me.
I'll let you think that for now. But until we meet again, be careful what you eat. Johnny?
Fugu Side Story Part 2, Hail to the Chef. Is this also an anime reference that I just don't know about, or is it just the pun, chief instead of chef?
Oh, if it isn't my worthy adversary. I hope you've been eating well since our last encounter.
I've been kept busy. Strangely, for all your talk of being the head of an empire, I haven't seen you out there.
I prosper beneath notice. Or do you not remember how many bodies I dropped before you finally found me?
Be that as it may, I have business in this territory. Stay clear of me, or you'll certainly attract my notice.
Your operation has already swallowed my poison. All you can do now is wait for the end.
Okay, so for this part of the side story, you have to stop these, what look like threats in different regions. They're actually not threats. They don't have negative consequences for you, but they're labeled like them, so it's a nice little flavor piece as you're rushing out there to stop these poisonings.
My, you certainly are clever, neutralizing all my poison like that.
If you have the courage to face me directly, this will be long over by now.
All the more reason to do things my way. You'll never find me. Furuakawa Sushi House is a global institution. And I could be at any one of them, slicing the sashimi that will take you from this world.
Fine. If my quarry insists on going to ground, then I leave it no ground to go to.
Fugu Furukawa, this man has tarnished the family's honor. You must deal with him directly. Incendio, maybe you move out of this fight. I'm still paying for the last time I had to rebuild the casino. Alright, Fugu, what are you really worth when you're in a direct fight? Come on, you don't scare me. Whew. Okay, she is way better when you recruit her, guys. Don't worry. She just doesn't get knocked over by a single mercenary when she works on our side.
Ancestors would have seen shame in my defeat, but I'm a modern woman. You've earned my loyalty.
Loyalty? No, Madame Furuakawa. I was just going to kill you.
Wait. I can be of use to you. Imagine what my potent poisons could portend for your plans.
I wouldn't mind watching my enemies eat the wrong piece of Chutoro. All right, convince me of your usefulness.
Lend me your strength to rebuild the name you shattered. Do that, and I will become your greatest asset.
Fugu State! Chapter 3. Fugu Furukawa intends to become your latest henchperson. Help her rebuild her criminal and culinary cred by inviting her most severe critics to the last sushi dinner of their lives.
In order to be useful to you, I need my restaurants. They give me the reach and access to the whole world.
So reopen them and get on with it already.
I must do it in a way that restores my restaurant's honor. Give me this chance to silence my loudest critics.
I do happen to be good at silencing people.
Let me teach your minions my recipes. And then we'll invite all these critics to their last meal.
It is interesting that they have you use the dinner bar instead of the sushi bar right over here for this side story. I think that's because of how late they end up giving you the sushi bar. You're able to complete this side story before you get... It's like I think it actually comes with the quantum chemist, not the biologist. And on this special episode of Cupcake Wars, contestants are required to fit in at least one curious ingredient. How will you be able to incorporate anthrax, cyanide, or bleach in your latest culinary concoction? The judges are just dying to see what you come up with. Why'd the food critic have a domestic abuse case against him? He was always whipping the cream. Alright, now let us meet our judges. Emily Hansen, Alicia Seep, Amy Cohen, and Terry Jacobs. All are going to be relishing in the deliciousness served up to them today. Did you hear about all of Fugu Furukawa's food critics? Well, they passed away. Do you guys know if there's any meaning behind these little scroll here? Deserted minions, arrested minions, killed in action. Do these just randomly grow as you send minions on missions, or is there actually something like, if a region gets locked down, then it adds to arrested. If a super agent gets involved, then you have killed in action. I just don't know. It looks like the counter resets every time that you upgrade the criminal network. It will not remember the earlier versions.
Impressed, Madame Furuakawa. You could very well be my most efficient and effective assassin.
You're most efficient? So, does that mean?
Yes, I decided to spare your life. I I will change the verb, and you will kill those who would stop me.
Of course. Your enemies will be mine, and I won't let you down.
I know, and I won't. If you ever think to try serving me your sushi someday, I'll feed it to you myself.
Well, now Fugu is part of the team. Let's see what this chef brings to the table. So Fugu is a little fragile. She has a fairly low vitality. You're not necessarily going to see that because I've researched the highest levels of Henchmen enhancement, but just making you aware of that. She's limited to a melee attack, so that puts her in a dangerous situation whenever she is in a fight. But when she's in a fight, she still holds her own for sure, dishing out tons of damage with her basic attacks, and her abilities are not slouches either. First up here on her abilities, we have food poisoning. Fugu goes up to an agent and then offers them a poisoned delicacy. This is going to dramatically hit both their resolve and their vitality. We'll have to check out later just how much damage that food poisoning does, because here we're using her second ability, Blowfish Explosion. She tosses a blowfish loaded to blow right here onto the target, and then it will create a cloud of poison gas, which again damages vitality and resolve of everyone caught inside it. So it's hitting my minions here. It only hits their vitality. They don't have an equivalent of resolve, but it's catching all of the agents quite crucially. And as they choke on the gas, they actually have a stunned animation. And just to give them the worst thing possible here, we're going to tag team them with Dr. Ming. Potent bioweapon combo here. I love this combination. Being able to keep the henchmen locked up in the choking animation and just draining all of their vitality here. We don't have too many important minions, or a lot of our minions out here in the cover operation, so this is a pretty good opportunity to be able to use the gas attacks that can hit everybody around. Alright, let's see what Fugu can do when she's going in hand to hand. Whoo, that is a lot of damage. Clearly well trained in the martial arts. Fugu can definitely hold her own when she gets into a fight here. Oh, come on, Sandy. You gotta give me warning before you rip one like that. I mean, my mouth was open and everything. So agents do not aggro off of the Blowfish Explosion. It will still just smash their vitality and resolve, but they're not going to try and go aggressive, or they have no idea where the source of that explosion came from.
The wonders of
Okay, time to see just how potent Fugu's sushi poisons can be. We serve the agent. Sandy Kibble. Quality average, your bog standard do-gooder. Now, because she is marked for distract, she is immediately locked into the stalling animation, the stalling conversation animation that the henchman will use. So she's just having her insides eaten out. Wow. Okay, her resolve was already damaged by a few other factors. We're going to see how far she makes it. Now she wants to leave, but the poison is still working, guys. Is she going to be able to make it to the boat? It looks like she will. The poison stopped clicking there. She's at 66 health. She started out at 125. I have a time seed and the poison do even more. I'm not sure if the effects were off as soon as the agents want to leave, or if it is different based on, like, agents have kind of a constitution or an armor stat that impacts the poison. I'm really not sure. Or if there could just be variance on what the poison does. The game seems to be a little bit inconsistent in how things are calculated in that way. But that is a significant poison, both for doing resolve damage and for doing vitality damage. I mean, Fugu is insane out here in the casino, right? Her policy is that dead bodies cannot investigate your lair. She hits their vitality just as hard as their resolve. Whichever one breaks first, she doesn't care. Like, she is an incredible, incredible agent when it comes to stopping power here in the casino. And just to show off what kind of damage Fugu can put out when she gets into combat one more time here, let's see her deck these couple agents that are left after her initial Blowfish Bomb and other sabotages.
You
Sometimes part of being a chef is taking out the trash.
What do you need?
And then as you can see here, they're barely able to damage her and countermeasures. That's partly because these agents aren't the best in melee, and partly because I think that Fugu is rated with a fairly high armor rating. I really don't know how to quantify it yet. There's an armor rating or a constitution rating on how much damage your characters will receive from direct attacks, and it seems like Fugu's rating of being able to protect herself is pretty substantial. I absolutely love Fugu here in the lair. Her abilities synergize just so well. Both of them hitting Vitality and Resolve, meaning that they are great in combat. I mean, food poisoning is not great in combat because you have such a slow animation to actually poison the agent, but Bulletfish Explosion is so good at hitting those clumped up groups of agents. Food poisoning, awesome at being able to pick off those individual agents, and then if things are just coming to a beat down with your fists, Fugu is still going to come out on top. So she is absolutely incredible here in the lair, but that is not all that she is bringing as you recruit her. She has unique schemes she gives you on the world stage, and this unfortunately is where the character becomes, in my opinion, very divisive. These schemes are indicated exactly like the main quest indicators. They spin, they have the arrows pointing to them, and they are sized larger than the generic schemes, even though these are really just generic schemes. They are all the same. She has two types, actually. She has franchising opportunities, which we see here. You'll gain 45 heat in the region. You'll make $120,000 at the cost of 14 minions. I believe that the ratio of minions is always the same. It also always takes 5 minutes and 5 intel. So this is a decent scheme in the early to mid game, and you can unlock Fugu very early in the game, so these schemes definitely outpace those level 1 schemes that you're going to be seeing in regions. Even some of the level 2 schemes, these are on par because of how quickly you make your money, but once you reach higher level criminal networks such as level 3 and level 4 options available to you, then your take is going to be much higher anyway, just from the generic schemes, and these are going to be way more efficient in terms of how many minions you have to send out on the world stage to get them. Fugu's second type of scheme is sleeping with the fishes. And now there was initially a bug where Fugu was popping up multiple schemes in a single region. I don't know if this is a continuation of a bug with her schemes, but sleeping with the fishes only seems to appear in the Patriot States. Maybe my game is just bugged. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've seen sleeping with the fishes appear at any other regions of the world. This ability, or this scheme, I'm sorry, is unprecedented. It costs nothing, and it only takes 30 seconds, and it reduces heat in the region by 75. It's just a free way to reduce heat in the region. I love this scheme. This scheme, man, give me stuff for nothing all day. This scheme is great, but it does also have that same quest line indicator, and it's purple, so you have the two different types that you have to memorize. You have to notice the franchising opportunities and sleeping with the fishes. What I really dislike about how these schemes are implemented is that they conflict so much with having to search the world for the schemes that advance the main quest lines. It means that as I start scanning through all the different regions, I have to mouse over all of these locations with just the generic Fugu schemes, and then as soon as I see that it is just franchising opportunities, pass on, but it keeps you from being able to quickly hone in on the quest that you are really looking for to advance the story. So you end up wasting a lot of time out here on the world map. Unfortunately for Fugu here, her schemes bog down a game that is already paced pretty slowly, and just wasting time on the world map is not fun. I wish that I could disable these schemes, but they are tied to her. There's no getting around having them there, and they are, in my opinion, a big drawback to this character. I really dislike wasting time on the world stage scanning through trying to find the next mission that I want to actually conduct, and so for my ranking of this henchman, that docks her a lot. There are definitely going to be players who dislike her schemes popping up that way on the world map so much that they'll just stay away, never hire her. But then there are going to be other players who don't mind at all and would actually enjoy being able to utilize those schemes, especially early on in the game, and then sleeping with the fishes is valuable at any point in the game because it's literally giving you something for nothing, which is totally unique to any of the schemes in the game. And for those players, then they're going to absolutely love Fugu. She's going to be one of the very best henchmen in the whole game, best possible ones for them to recruit. I've done a tier list on all the henchmen, and Fugu ended up in the B tier. If you want to see how Fugu stacked up with all of the other henchmen thrown into the mix, then check that video out. Leave a comment about the team of henchmen you have built with Fugu, or maybe without. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.